Opposing living slides in only 32 feet. That is a hard find, but I got one for you today. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here with a MPG 2780RE. And this is, what's funny, this is kind of a classic rear living, rear entertainment floor plan. I haven't seen something like this for a number of years. And there's this weird cyclical thing that happens, not just within the RV industry, but like whether it's, it's fashion or anything. What's old becomes new again. The benefit of an opposing slide living room to give you all that big wide open living space, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. It's nice to have all that room. The trick is when you start doing that in travel trailers and fifth wheels, they start being like 35 feet awful quickly, and that can very quickly restrict where you can take the RV. By going with a little bit more of a classic space-saving design, what they've accomplished here is something that's 31 feet 11 inches, so we're going to call it 32 feet for the sake of easy argument, which allows for you to take this thing to a lot more places. There's going to be a lot more, parks and trails and routes where this will be more easily handled. Now, it's about 6,600 pounds empty. The total max GVW is just under 10,000 pounds. I would generally probably recommend this with a 3/4 ton most of the time. If you're like in some very modest towing terrain, like where I'm locally from, and you've got a good heavy half ton and you're just going not too far, it might be okay. But it's really going to be very situational on what kind of truck I might recommend for this. The underbelly is enclosed and forced air heated. They have all power stabilizer, tongue jack, and awning to make everything kind of simple and easy here. The camp side has a big deep slide under the awning. That might be kind of a deal breaker for some folks. I hope you appreciate I already went out of my way to capture some footage of that first thing straight away for you. But what's cool about this floor plan, again, it's giving us opposing living room slides and a really nice wraparound kitchen just under 32 feet. And there's a very short list of things that can accomplish that. I have a suspicion you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. And there's not going to be a whole lot in between. That's the door. Just to give you your bearings, I'm such an idiot. Obviously, I don't edit my videos a lot. I'm just like a rolling blooper reel at this point. The barreled ceiling really does nicely help open things up. And one of the nice things on this one, it is large enough. You want to put 50 amp service on this, you want to get a second air conditioner, those things are available. Considering, how big of a cabin space we have and how many, like you got a private walk-through bathroom, you got your private bedroom, that you're going to want potentially second air in a lot of areas. Frankly, even where I live in the summertime, I don't know that you'd regret it necessarily, especially with all the window coverage. Windows are just awesome because they make the RV look great, and the airflow on these, because they do all open for airflow, which I think is pretty clutch. But windows are basically a thermal hole in the wall. Those windows are an R0.71. Now, if you pull the privacy shades down, they become effectively like an R2 point something or other. But I mean, they have next to no actual insulative quality about them. Dual pane thermal windows, by the way, they're not really thermal windows in the RV industry. Those are only an R1.014. They bring almost nothing to the table. But they are sound dampening. Sorry, I'm off topic here. Carpetless, ventless floor. Those are marine woven slide floors, by the way, but not traditional kind of carpet stuff. I do like how all the windows open for airflow. I think I mentioned that. If I didn't, there you go. The entertainment right here, like a lot of people by default at a glance, you're going to look at this and say, this is really stupid. I have two sofas, neither of which face the entertainment center. It's a 90-degree neck wrecker situation. And thankfully the TV can pivot either direction. Something else I kind of thought about here, depending on what you want to do with it, because the TV's not framed in on the sides. And if I'm eyeballing this correctly, yeah, the window valances here are behind the TV. There's space. If you wanted to go with a party jumbotron and put a big giant sucker in there, I bet you could do, I'm shooting from the hip, I haven't measured it, I'm guessing maybe a 60-inch diagonal TV or something. Like, you could go crazy. You're probably going to want to get different mounting hardware for that because of the extra weight, but I don't see why you couldn't. The Tootsie Toaster down below is nice for some bonus heat without burning your propane, but there's a couple little touches I like. They do, like, it looks like dresser foot peg legs under their cabinets.
And you know, I guess you kind of lose 2 or 3 inches of potential cabinet storage space, but at the same time, it looks really nice. And I don't know, I could always put flip flops or something down there. And it's funny, I don't even really wear flip flops, but you get the idea. Now, they do a neat thing over here next to the theater sofa. They actually build in almost like a bedside headboard CPAP cubby. And one, it makes the space not feel quite so enclosed, but there's also some, not household, pardon me, there are no household, but USB outlets built right into that, both Type A and Type C. So you have a place to charge your phone sitting right next to you because this sofa has no power run to it. It's not like a massage, butt burning theater seat or anything like that. It's the kind of thing that if you just want to kick your feet up, you could. Now, obviously, it's a more population controlling variety, but what a lot of people don't know is all 3 segments of this are actually separate. So, that seat and armrest, the middle thing, that seat and armrest, they're all different objects that are linked together. If you wanted to take the middle section out and have more of a love seat and put like a side stand beside it, you could totally, actually, I wouldn't hate that. That's not a terrible idea. But you could do that here if you are so inclined. And the kitchen is uncommon, but this is actually kind of a classic, walk through middle kitchen. And you're hearing me say the words classic a lot on this. Well, older vehicles did not have quite the guts that a lot of newer vehicles have. And as a result, older RV designers, in the olden days of campers, like 6 years ago, I know it seems like a long time, they had to be a little more crafty and creative about keeping the RV shorter and lighter. And considering we have opposing living room slides, they managed to keep this thing 32 feet and give or take 6,700 pounds empty dry weight. That's not terrible. I would say overall they've been successful. Sorry, I realized that I just kind of quit moving the camera there as I was talking about stuff. My brain just sort of went straight on pause, which is different from, when I grew up as a kid and we watched those commercials where that girl just absolutely obliterates her kitchen because her brain's on drugs or whatever. Very, very different. I don't know what I would use it for, but I'm liking that open corner. What would you put up there? Just some kind of decorations or something else? Ooh, hold on. Where are the kitchen outlets? Okay, I've got kitchen outlets up under here and another one up in that corner. A pop-up power tower in that far corner would be really handy because otherwise, you do have quite a bit of space for appliance cords to try to reach up there. So that's a factor maybe to consider, but I love all the prep space in this kitchen. Let me get you up here a little bit closer. That sink cover is a little bit warped. We're going to have to get that swapped out. I don't like that. Sorry, I just see something and I say something. When you're standing in the kitchen, all of this wraps around you. And what's nice is when you're standing in the kitchen, you're still part of the living room and the entertainment. But no one's like interrupting you and bumping into you and walking past you. They can just walk right around you. It's also just, I don't know, it's just handy. It just works. That's my 2 cents anyway. Maybe you feel a little bit differently about it. Diving into some deeper details here, let's actually start right down here, say with this hide-a-bed. One of the cool things on this, like you might notice too, no traditional dining. I almost wonder if you couldn't bring a couple bar stools that you bring up to that kitchen countertop. But when the slide closes, you're going to have to get those out of the way. Each side of the theater seat, one of the nice things about it is they're wall huggers, basically, so that you don't have to wrestle the sofa away from things. And you saw, obviously, it includes that, not lagoon table, but extra table that actually mounts onto the sofa. So if you do want to sit right there and have a bite to eat, you have the opportunity to do that. You don't necessarily have to eat at the dining bar, and you're not necessarily dropping crumbs on your lap the whole time. Although I will tell you, I don't know why I am this way. Here's a little deep dive into Uncle Josh's life. I have this ability. If I wear a light colored shirt, I'm going to get ketchup on it or barbecue sauce or something. I remember one time I was just getting ready to sit down and eat some barbecue. My wife's like, "You're going to wear a white shirt and eat barbecue?" I'm like, "Yeah, you make a good point." And if I wear a dark colored shirt, I never get anything on me. Either that or I just can't tell. Life hack. Anyway, that's actually one of the reasons somebody asked me yesterday, why are the undersides of a lot of awnings black? And basically, you know, if you're going down the road or if there's rain while the awning is rolled up in storage, some water is going to walk its way down that awning. Part of the reason a lot of them are black, at least on the underside, is so that you don't visually realize the little, basically, moldy spots that are on the awning. There we go. That's so, you know, there's a reason why, to a question you probably never asked. Now, as long as we're moving up here into the bathroom, let's give you a look at the shower head space. The barreled ceiling's nice, but they do have a heck of a step up into the shower pan. I definitely have to have my head in that skylight, but the skylight is thankfully positioned in a location where, I don't know, it works for me. Like, I don't have any issues standing right there to, you know, to stand up and scrub my scalp and all that kind of stuff. Now, one of the cool things that is not necessarily a classic feature is they did go with a more rectangular shower pan to give you more elbow room here. But speaking of elbow room, allow me to actually slip my backside into the bedroom up here. You might notice they're still maintaining no heat vents in the floor. There's a heat vent coming off the side of the shower. That is actually the reason why it has such an aggressive step up right there. Otherwise, they wouldn't need to do something like that. They could get that out of the way a little bit more. Now, I don't plan my videos. I don't script anything. And I've got myself lodged in this bathroom in a weird space that I was not necessarily intending. But as long as we're standing here, let's take an X-ray deep dive into the, you know, what's going on in the bathroom space in terms of all of the storage galorage. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised with all the storage that's happening in there. Now, as we slide forward into the bedroom, I immediately want to make you aware of the fact I have transitioned over into ultra wide angle mode right now. This is not at all what it truly looks like to the naked eye. I'm going to give you some looks at that. But I wanted to give you kind of an overview first. Like, you can see the weird shape of that mattress. That's because we are in insane wide angle lens mode. But this way you can kind of see how everything sort of, you know, plays together, where you've got your cross breeze windows. Again, like I said, you can outfit this with a second air conditioner, and that's what we're looking at right up top there. But to put you back into real world view, this is what it's actually going to look like. So this is more representative. I will tell you, this bedroom is extremely, extremely tight in here. Oh, that's real nice. Oh, that's real nice. It looks like somebody had some chicken strips and used our bedspread as you know, a napkin to get the barbecue sauce out of their face. Super classy. Thank you, Michigan. Glad to be a resident. What I was getting at, this is a 72 by 80. You know, the word king bed gets thrown around, some weird RV king size bed, but I guess we're gonna just say king bed. But because this bedroom is so tight, this is one of the kind of models where their sliding king bed actually comes in handy. I'm going to give you a demo of that in just a minute here. First and foremost, though, what I want to kind of point out is you've got these neat little kind of drop down, hang down side pockets, which could be an awesome little place to, you know, set your phone and whatnot. And if you look a little further under there, you can actually see how there's also some, you know, power outlets in that area, both household and USB on both sides of the bed. Now, once again, that bed can slide, it can glide, whatever word you want to apply to it. And the reasoning is this bedroom is very tight. And if you actually want a place where you can stand in your bedroom and put on a pair of pants and get dressed or whatever, the bed can slide off to the side so that, you know, you have room to do that. Now, there is a pass-through, like, storage under it, but because it slides side to side, it's not exactly enclosed. But I don't really know that, it's not visual, it's not visible. So if you have, like, totes that are loose under there, I don't know that anyone's going to get too worked up over it. Over here in this corner, though, there's this extra little dresser and kind of vanity station. And again, if you slide the bed off to the side, you actually have a place where you can stand and get dressed, and you can see what you look like a little bit at least before the neighbors do, which can be kind of handy. Obviously, we have some sliding privacy action going on here from the bedroom to bathroom transition. And in case you're curious, yes, it does have TV hookups in the bedroom. Now, I got to get my fat butt off this thing. So looking here in road mode, obviously you can see we've closed the slide. I've not eyeballed this in road mode. So from the door, the bedroom and bathroom where I just came from, that's readily accessible. So if you need to take a nap or take a crap, it's easily reachable. You've got your kitchen sink right next to us here. We've got some good counter space. It's really going to boil down to the refrigerator. Ooh. Ooh. Maybe it doesn't open all the way, but I think for enough travel access, that counts. And if for some reason your life flat depended upon it, I think you could maybe do a little twinkle toes, yeet the wife over the countertop, Dukes of Hazzard, yeehaw to get over that sucker. Considering what we're looking at here, I'm pretty impressed with the access.
I will say one thing for this one. The hitch weight was surprisingly modest given the whole size of the RV. And I think a lot of that is because if you look at, you've got two big slides, what they're located on or behind the axles. And I think that really allowed them to nicely balance the nose. Now, there's a caveat I want to give you to that. Remember, you've got a lot of potential storage space in the front end of this thing, and when they give us a big cargo area, I've really learned over the years, I've met a lot of people doing this job. If a manufacturer gives you space, you tend to put stuff in it. Now, the good news, one of the things I'm really going to give a lot of these cruiser models and like Heartlands some credit for is they have really become aware of the lack of available cargo carrying capacity in so many RVs, and they're really building their stuff sometimes with almost excessive cargo capacity. But I mean, I'd rather have more cargo capacity than not enough, certainly, and it's really been my experience. An RV that is built with a large cargo capacity structurally doesn't tend to get stressed as hard because the axles can better handle, harder bangs and things like that, and less of that gets translated up into the body of the RV. Now, something else that's cool on these don't have 0 options, but they have very few options. So things like the power stabilizers, power tongue jack, that kind of stuff, when they standardize all that, it actually brings the cost down. That's one of the kind of cool things. Like, it might be a slightly more expensive thing than corner scissor jacks, but by standardizing it, it doesn't cost as much as an optional corner jack would be because they can cut the other stuff out of their build process and reduce the number of total, basically, parts SKUs that they're juggling with. Now, you can obviously see my nerdy face up here. Every time I show up at these shows, all of a sudden my face is all over these price signs as though I personally came up with that price and was like, shop me, bro, which I didn't, but I'm not very, Abraham Lincoln, Lindsey Brohan about that kind of stuff. But keep in mind, that is the price for this RV at this show. For the dealership that is attending this show, well, dealership, you say, what do you mean, Bish's RV? No. Our Coldwater, Michigan store, the MPG series is new. And very often when a manufacturer and a store form a new partnership, there's some initial special pricing to help kind of create a initial surge of business. I would not be surprised if normally this ends up being like a $38,000 trailer plus tax title license, because if you look at the MSRP and then you look at our sale price, you're like, that's pretty, like, you guys went after it. So I got a feeling that there's some incentivization that has been done to help accomplish that. I just don't normally get into pricing on my videos because it can very quickly skew someone's expectations, and I want you to always shop with good expectations. Or we could maybe be like Fitzgerald and have great expectations. It's so stupid. I'm so tired. Oh my God, I think I just broke. It's not even that funny. Okay. Focus. All right. Speaker all the way up top. They do that. I mean, they do that on like all these MPGs. I feel like that could just be done differently. And we are prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder. Now, I am, we are all wedged in at this display space here. But I do want to crawl around the other side so we can take a look at what sewer hookups might be looking like on this one. And as long as I'm walking, I might as well be talking. It seems to be the one thing I do best, right? Run my mouth. You can ask my wife, she'll confirm. I want to talk about the solar situation. In that pass-through compartment right there, actually, we can kind of see it coming into frame. That black box is a solar charge controller. Cruiser is a subsidiary of Heartland, and they followed suit with this thing they call SOL, but Solar Ready. And it's not solar prep. They've actually run the wiring from the roof to the charge controller and run the wiring to the battery area, but they don't actually, by default, include a solar panel from the factory. This does have their 190-watt optional solar package. I think I've referred to that as a 200-watt solar package mistakenly in a couple previous videos, so apologies if I got that wrong. A 190-watt roof solar package applied to this one. That's something that our Southern Michigan store is doing on all these that they're stocking whenever they can. But keep in mind, different stores may stock things differently. That's an available option that's there. Now, what's kind of cool about it being actually solar ready, it is truly plug and play. You want to just grab a panel, slap her up there, good to go. So we slide over to the other side here of our giant poster of Grandpa Bish Jenkins. In case you're kind of curious, that's actually where the name Bish's RV comes from. Here's an interesting little piece of Jeopardy trivia that'll never be on Jeopardy for you. Bish was the nickname of our owner's grandfather, and he was involved with things early on, and he had his own business in Idaho where the company kind of comes from initially, and just adding his name Bish's RV just kind of made sense. Now, obviously, we're over here at the Snacktastic Bish's RV station where we're giving our people a little bit of, processed food to keep them pumping through the show. But it does look like this is a single sewer outlet, because if you look at this thing, there, like your kitchen, your bathroom, all of that is like just in front of the axle, so there is no need for a second hookup, and you never have to deal with anything being located like under a slide. So that's pretty solid stuff. I also really like the fact that we do have a stovetop exhaust vent hood coming off the side of the RV, and it does also include like one of those little more higher pressure cold water sprayer ports where you can get the garden hose head and spray everything down, especially the neighbors, and then deadbolt yourself in your RV and call the cops and say that these people are harassing you. Modern, problems require modern solutions. Good Lord, look at this stuff. Who would put this in their bodies? So thanks again for tuning in. Like I always do, I'll leave you a link in the video description to check for pricing and availability. And remember, we don't do hidden dealer fees. We just do everything else. I'm still waking up. I'm not yet caffeinated, so pardon if I'm a little more and droning than normal. I'm doing my best. When you're ready, we're ready. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. My voice sounds different when I'm tired, doesn't it?